Hello and welcome to Season 5, Episode 36 of the Plastic Crack Podcast. You'll see that we are a man down, but we've replaced him.
We've upgraded again. We've upgraded
him after the disgrace he was at the weekend with Glenn from Warbases. So, Glenn, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We hope everyone is well. So just to answer the question that I know everyone is going to ask, yes, Ken got a refund on his whole Travel Lodge weekend. Just to stop it, he managed to get his entire weekend refunded because the AC unit clicked occasionally. So there we go. There we go. Have at it. I don't even care who knows. I hope someone that works at Travel Lodge watches this because it's ridiculous. So there we are. But anyway, thank you all for joining us. The three of us are quite tired. Glenn's probably quite tired, but for probably far more legitimate reasons than we are. So we're going to have a chat with Glenn tonight about Warbases and what they've been up to. Because you said I thought it'd been less time. He said it's been 2 years.
Yeah,
2 years.
Nearly 2 years to the day.
I can't believe
it was just after CrackCon 3, and we're still tired. So it's good. All of us are probably powered by coffee currently. Steve definitely is, and he after the fruity beers he was drinking on Friday night. I'm not surprised. Although, if anyone would like to send some, what flavour was it, Steve?
What that stuff on Saturday?
Yeah, what was it? Peanut butter.
Peanut butter and peanut butter pretzel stout.
I mean,
if you'd like to send on to Steve, he really likes it, but I heard that James Cutts likes it even more.
James Cutts.
So much so that the Battle of Gagovia had to wait while James Cutts came to arrive for the Battle of Gagovia. So
did the Battle of Mocha, because the Prussians hadn't turned up either. Because they've been drinking that rubbish.
Excellent stuff. Well, what we'll do, first of all, thank you if you're watching on the catch-up. Thank you for everyone who's tuned in tonight. We also found out the last time Glenn came on was the record number of viewers we had until that random evening that we somehow topped 200. So we're looking to try and do that again. So share it, watch it, get your sister, your mother.
I reckon Glenn's just got a very, very big family. That's all I'm saying.
I've just got multiple YouTube accounts.
That's the way.
I've done that thing to see if it works if you just open up loads of tabs, but all it does is make everything go slow. So it doesn't, unfortunately.
I love the fact you tried it. That's brilliant.
I know what definitely didn't do it in a live premiere to see if I could up those numbers. But let's see who's tuned in. So we've got Rich John is here, Digger Down Under is here, Paul's Paint Shed is here. I hope you aren't too tired, mate. From Paul was Caesar at the weekend, and he got a little bit hot in his toga, so the toga was off after about half an hour. But Fortunately, there were many layers. Alid is here, Mike Schubert, Martin Hoey, Mark Riding, how you doing, dude? Andy Sykes, Red Steph, Lazy Pirate Painting, Mobile and Hostile, Carazette, Lionheart, Neil Oldham, Trajanic, Steve Harbour. Hope you're feeling better, mate. John Carter, Andrew King, Payden, you right, Grant? Neil Allen, Craig Williams. It's a lovely spring anticipated here. Must say, extremely envious of all you CrackCon attendees. It looked like an awesome event. It was a brilliant weekend. Thank you. We had an amazing time with amazing people, and Boards and Swords made a lot of money, and the Peacock Pub made a lot of money as well. They said thank you to Haley because they were thinking of shutting a little bit early that night, but then 40 drunken pissheads came in to spend some more money, so they think we tripled their earnings. Daniel Justin, how you doing? Benjamin, have you made it back? Joining from the hotel bar, fantastic. Hope you are traveling well. Richard Hawes, he had a good time there. Old school, how you doing? Gary Wallace, David Few, Steve Betts. There's a lot of people who are at the weekend who've arrived for roll call.
Well done.
It's roll call. I feel like that scene in Zulu where he's doing the roll call at the end. It's like, I've seen you. You're alive. Carlson Lambert, how you doing? Mini Agnostic, Wargaming History. Joseph, you're right. Nathan McGowan, it's going to do that thing. Steve Clark, Gary Bromley, Mike Peters, how you doing, dude? David Benton, you're right, mate. Samuel Ferguson, Alex Storm of Steel is here. White Stag Minis, Robin is here, and Round Monkey. Hello, I'm not sure I've seen you.
Round Monkey.
But
New
it's,
name, isn't it?
we're definitely getting a name there. And Major Clanger has just joined. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us on this fairly blustery Monday morning here in Suffolk. I would ask how the other two are, but I know because I saw them less than 24 hours ago. So I figured what it would probably just do is just open it straight up. Now, I'm sure everyone in the chat knows about Warbases and who Warbases are. It's almost a staple of the hobby these days. But just in case they don't, I figured that we should probably give Glenn the floor and just explain. Greetings from 40,000 feet. Hello.
Yay!
That's it. How do we add this to the map? How do we add this to our map, John?
I mean, this must cover off
a
a whole load of countries. Must be covered off
just
as
get a
they
pin and put it in the
fly.
middle of the Atlantic. Just there we go.
Hell.
They said they'd do it and they've done it. That's it. That's our first person joining from a plane. If there's any way that you can like stream this onto the other screens in the plane, that would be even better. That would be even better.
I tell you
Fantastic
what,
stuff.
The PCP is now officially part of the Mile High Club.
God.
Let that mental image set in.
There's a t-shirt. There's a t-shirt.
Oh,
Excellent. So yes, if you got as we go along, guys, if you've got any questions about Warbases or questions for Glenn, pop them in the chat. I'll star them, and we'll come on to that a little bit later. But just handing over to you, Glenn. I guess the main bit is probably say, what is Warbases and what do you do there?
Warbases. What I do, I'm a general dog's body. Is the easiest way to. I just run around, put out fires, and occasionally cause the odd one. But no, I'm kind of the day-to-day general manager. Keep on top of everything in the workshop. Warbases is a MDF supplier. Initially, predominantly dealing with bases, but we've expanded into movement trays, buildings, laser cut. Not anything, but we'll give it a go.
There's a challenge coming your way, Glenn. Now,
yeah, we started in 2007. It was my dad who started the company. Started in 2007 doing bases, and then kind of just progressed from there. 2010, it became his full-time job. And then 2016, I finished a business management and events management degree at university, and joined full-time. Before that, I was working part-time, kind of all the time. It wasn't really part-time. It was full-time, part-time.
Yeah.
But it was all hours of day and night. Yeah, we've got a dedicated team now of three. I think there's 8 or 9 of us now.
Wow.
Yeah, so we've taken a few guys on since the last time I was on now. So we've got 3 full-time guys now working alongside myself, my mum, and my dad, who run, manage the business.
wow.
Yeah.
I was about to say the website Warbases must be, I think, the most linked website that I see across all of the different forums and chats, because everything from bolt actions and Napoleonics, and then in the old world as well. When the old world came out, there was everyone was like, where do I get these? I need to use it. Warbases. It must be the most linked one, because obviously the service is universal. What you do basically.
Yeah. We try and offer as much as we can for any and everything. When the old world rules came out at the start of the year, we were inundated with requests that we had to throw them on the website. And for the best part of about 10 weeks, it was just chaos. I was working 40, 50, 60-hour weeks easily every week. And we were shipping out an insane amount at the time. But yeah, we try and cover as much as we can. The Midgard rules come out from Two Fat Lardies next month, so we're working on some stuff for that at the moment. So we've got dedicated movement trays that we're working on at the moment that'll come out for that, along with tokens, templates, and stuff like that. And that's beside us doing the official tokens as well for Richard at Two Fat Lardies.
Absolutely. I know. I'll throw this up now because I've seen these as well. But Alex was just saying the Chain of Command platoon rosters. You made him brilliant.
Yes.
You do your bit of custom stuff as well, won't you? If it floats in.
Yeah. We're more than happy to take on any and all custom work. We had to pause that at the start of the year, just purely because we were inundated with Old World at the time.
Yeah.
But about halfway through the year, we picked that back up, and yeah, we're open for any custom work, at least taking a look at it. I can't say that we can do it, but yeah, we always do. So someone like Alex there with those roster boards, he comes to us with a design and what he wants, and we can cut and print it for him.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I was just going to say as well, with maybe I'm assuming here, but obviously with the Old World people jumping on, I wonder how many people were actually aware from that community, because I think I don't know how much the GW community was aware of Warbases.
Yeah,
obviously before that came on. So, and then word of mouth and obviously links through all these sites. Yeah, people who wanted to do that. I wonder if also that's been a gateway to other games and other stuff, because people will see what Warbases are getting used for.
Yeah, absolutely. We were getting a lot of emails. Customers, I don't want to say not knowing what they were looking for, but not aware of what we can provide.
Do you think maybe it opened their eyes a little bit to what they could actually?
I would like to hope it's opened up their eyes to the larger collective of the hobby. I know for a fact when I started with Warbases, I said it the last time I was on, I was 14 when I went to the first show with Martin, and I had no idea that the hobby was anything other than Games Workshop. I had no idea about fantasy, anything other than GW fantasy. I had no idea that historicals were even, I knew they were a thing, but I didn't know that they were a wargaming thing. So hopefully with the Old World, with the customers coming in on that, I'm hoping that that's helped as well.
That is awesome. Now, when we were, because I was trying to think because I didn't think it was 2 years ago, but it was 8 to 18 months. But obviously, time just moves a lot more rapidly. With the exception of obviously the Old World, how has the business changed in those last 2 years since it's obviously expanded a bit?
Yeah, so the biggest thing that's changed in the last 18 months, 2 years, and we've never really kind of spoke about it, is that we purchased our building that we were in. Our landlord was looking to sell, so we purchased our building last year. So we now don't have a landlord. But it also now means we're responsible for everything with the building.
Yes.
What the good news is we don't have a landlord. The bad news is we don't have a landlord.
Yeah, if anything goes wrong, we have to deal with it now. So I mean that's probably the biggest thing as a business, and it's not one that we've really ever spoken about. But along
does that
with
allow
that,
you to do different things, or does that open up other possibilities that you couldn't previously have done?
So. Yes and no. We had a very laid back landlord who was happy for us to do whatever, really. And we weren't really picky with them either. So it was a very nice mutual relationship where we didn't bother them and they didn't bother us. So in terms of what we want to do, not huge amount. Admittedly, this year we decided to make the decision to close our retail shop, our bricks and mortar shop.
Yeah.
It wasn't getting the footfall for the footprint that it takes up in the unit. And we bought a new machine and didn't have anywhere to put it. which wasn't necessarily the smartest. It was a buy it and then we'll make it fit, and then we realized that it wouldn't fit unless we moved a million things. So
Sounds like my wife and buying her clothes, but there you go.
So yeah, in terms of things that we can now do that we don't have a landlord, we knocked a big hole in a wall. That was great fun. That was quite therapeutic. So yeah, we can do things like that now.
Right.
So yeah, other things since I was last on, at the start of this year, we purchased the Depot Battalion range of miniatures from Colonel Bill's.
Yeah.
Which are kind of just a generic across the board range of figures, animals, carts, cartloads, that sort of thing.
Well, that's something I always see. Sorry to
Yeah.
like where it is when because we always come and say hi when we see you at Salute or Warfare or whatever, and there's always just secure people buying livestock.
Yes,
it's always everyone gets
Yes.
livestock. You know, I know Steve's gonna be wanting some livestock after what he was playing at the weekend. So
there'll be
yeah.
an order going in for some sheep in the very near future. Never thought I'd ever be saying that.
Yeah,
I'm going to pause that one. Okay.
It's a really weird one. So when we started, so we've got our own animals range. It was one of those ones when we started doing it. We realized that there wasn't really anyone else doing them. Lots of people doing miniatures, but nobody doing animals. So yeah, the Depot Battalion range comes with 20 codes of horses. I don't know how he managed to make 20 codes of horses out of it, but there's 20 codes of horses, and they all sell. They're all very specific, very niche for, Dark Ages, 17th century, etc. So they are all very specific for it. So there is a broad spectrum there.
Wow.
That's it. I've just realised my wife is watching. Martin coming, he got a hole in the wall. I know nothing. That's I did better watch what I say. I thought you heard.
Best behaviour.
Absolutely. No, that's also, and then of course, how long ago was it now that Black Sheep started your Wild West? That was about a year ago.
So that was released in time for the What a Cowboy set of rules.
Yeah.
That's right.
So I'm thinking that was probably about December or January 22, 23. Somewhere around about there.
The time is rubbish.
No.
For someone whose job involves looking at the past, I have no idea when things recently.
So yeah, I released a set of range of miniatures, Black Sheep miniatures, which now has, I think, 12 or 14 codes. I can't remember. But again, at the start of the year, with the birth of my daughter, I sold both my model railway business scenic group models and Black Sheep miniatures to Martin, in order to still manage it on the day-to-day, but not have the impact on my own personal time. So I still manage them on the day-to-day along with the rest of the Warbases brands, but I
they are.
Yeah, no, I love them. We work with a fantastic 3D sculptor that's local to us. He lives 20 minutes down the road, so he just pops by the unit when you're looking for more stuff, which is fantastic. But I quite enjoyed the Old West. And I get a lot of complaints about the gun straps because they're a bit more Hollywood than historically accurate. But I like the Hollywood aspect of it. I'm a big fan of the Hollywood side of it.
That's a new one on me. I mean, recently Dom has been criticised for his Union Blue. Steve got done for. Well, actually, Steve gets done for putting tufts on everything.
Yeah.
Yes. I got done for putting the color purple on some Carthaginians just because I got fed up of painting bronze. So we can add gun straps to the list.
Gun straps.
What a really odd, bizarre thing to complain about, though. That's pretty niche. Pretty niche.
And genuinely, you'd be surprised how many people complain about how the straps weren't a thing. I think until about the 1920s, 1930s, but they're very Hollywood. So they're 40, 50, 60 years too late.
Oh, Glenn,
I like
how
them.
could you?
I like them. I think they're good.
Well.
I mean, I just love the fact that even in a sort of a Western shootout, which most of us, our imagination of what that's about is from Western TV Westerns, and somebody's moaning about that. That's brilliant. Love it.
That is awesome.
Love it.
It's always good to hear, though. I'm glad the pedantry can be a broad spectrum of through everything. Do you get it on any of the MDF stuff that you do? Because obviously you do buildings and things as well. So
not so much with the buildings. We do get the odd complaint about something that isn't on a building, but it's a later addition to a building.
Right.
Right.
So it's things like that. It's the building that we've designed is historically accurate for, say, the 16th or 17th century. However, someone's decided to build a staircase or something on the front of it in the 19th century. But the reference material they have is modern. Yeah, we get little bits like that, but in general, no, not too bad. I used to get issues when I ran Scenic Group Models as a model railway business that the brick size was too big. The spacing on the doors, the handle doesn't look right. You've done etched tile on the roof, but the tiles are clearly too big. They're like, saucepans, and I'm like, it's a little building. It's representative.
Yeah.
No, just no.
I'm feeling better about my blue already.
That is awesome. Well, I mean, Warbases, as I say, you seem to, from when you were on last and we were chatting, what Warbases is applying and doing, it just appears to be getting bigger and bigger. Yes. There seems to be a lot of, or maybe I didn't notice it as much, but it seems to be a lot of, to me anyway, where rule sets are coming out. If they do need companion tokens, or they're looking for battle boards or something like that, the Warbases will be the people. I often see these, Warbases are doing these, and expect to see this soon. So is that game designers actually seeking you guys out and doing it, or do they go to their publishers and the publishers have a deal with you and you do? How does that sort of work?
So yeah, it's a little bit of both. I've said it before. We work very close with Richard at Two Fat Lardies, and we're lucky enough that Richard, we're his go-to now for the production of tokens and those sorts of things. So we have just redone a sprue for the jump-off patrol markers for him, which makes it a lot easier for him for packing. They're still the exact same, but the sprue is now easier for him to pack. We are working on the Chain of Command 2 tokens for him at the moment. So we've got a big order. We've delivered the first half at the other partisan to him, but we're still working on the second half. And we got the order in last week for the Midgard tokens.
Ooh,
so
right.
People like Richard, we work very close with him. We get a lot of work through him, but yeah, we there's a few other folk that have kind of sought us out over time. We've just recently been working with Ground Zero Games, for one of their sets of rules. We've done some tokens for them guys. Is it Brigade Models for the Hammers and Slammers set of rules? We've just replaced their acrylic token set that they were getting done at elsewhere with a full color MDF print version now. John at Handiwork Games, who is the artist that's done a lot of the Midgard stuff. We also do a lot of print work for him as well. So it's a lot of it is companies seeking us out, but we do put it out there that we're more than happy to look into work at least, because it's so. Oh, I don't know what I'm trying to say. We can do so much with the coloured MDF. Martin, you've seen that with some of the photos that I've sent over that we'll talk about later.
The coloured MDF is something I know everyone's pretty keen to have a chat about and sort of have a look at. But it's quite. I think originally when. Or maybe this is just me. When MDF started to, I don't say it started to become a thing, but when the MDF buildings started coming out, and they were and everyone was like, oh, it's well, maybe it was just me. It's a one-trick pony. Here's your MDF building. You can use it as is, or you can slap some other bits on it and use it as a base. And all these kind of things. And MDF companies just seem to be going from strength to strength and doing different things. I did notice that even GW are doing MDF in their next set as well, which no one. I don't know how the 40k crowd. I don't want to speak for them, but I don't know how they're going to react to it because they're used to plastic and kits. But that stood out because they put out one of their news bulletins, and the big thing that stuck out to me was there's MDF stuff in their new Kill Team set. So. It's clearly been an accepted medium now for scenery, game aids, and obviously a whole host of other bits and bobs. So I think obviously that shows you guys are certainly in the right place.
Why is that, Glenn? Why do you think that has happened with MDF? Because Martin's right, really. When they first came out, you saw MDF. It was fairly limited what you got for it, but now it seems to be. It's just. Have you got machines that are better at cutting it or molding? Is it design, or is it just be more focus on it? Or
I don't think it's anything to do with the machinery as such. We are running lasers that are 10, 12 years old, and they still sing and dance all day long. So I don't think in terms of machinery as such. I think it's individuals pushing the boundaries of what can be achieved with it.
Right.
I think there's a big aspect of that. I suppose there's the aspect of new machinery that's being used. Is
it also an element of sort of acceptability, if that's the right word? People are much more prepared to use it and go with it.
Yeah. I think you look at how many MDF companies there are around now, and I think it's become something of a socially accepted norm. Dom, I was listening to the last time I was on, and you were saying beforehand, before MDF, everyone was using cardboard and plastic. And I think at that point, it was just what was accepted, and it was the norm. And I think it's just that over time, people start to use it more, they see it more. It's more in your eye line. I
have noticed that recently, sort of the past 18 months, watching battle reports on YouTube across all different games, all different periods, a lot more MDF scenery is being used. It's become, like you said, it's becoming a staple part of the hobby.
It's almost like we talked about this before, but it's almost. I think this is the same across many, not just wargaming, but other hobbies as well. It's kind of like someone said it takes about 10 years for something to become like accepted to the point it becomes like just every day, because there'll be that period of grumbling then it becomes accepted, and then then something else will be along for them to grumble about that's newer. So like 3D printing, for example. So in about 5 years, 3D printing will be far more accepted than it is. And it's just a natural progression, isn't it, of a new service. Dom, I probably wasn't, but Dom, when the first plastic figures came out, because I was probably not alive.
Oh, that's below the belt.
Sorry, Dom. Maybe I should use another one like color photography or just photography in general. Sorry,
bloody cheek. Probably true though. I mean, I think KG's got a point here. He says the quality of the MDF buildings and the price point that makes them reasonably priced probably helps, and I think that's probably true.
That's what okay. I have to ask: is there a difference? So I'm naming no names. When I buy certain MDF kits, like from maybe the guests we have at the minute, they're robust. It's not just down to the 2 mil, 3 mil thickness, okay? Because I know obviously there are things. But is there different? What do I do? Not brands of MDF, but qualities of MDF. Because I'll have other kits.
It's all MDF equal, is what it means.
It's all MDF equal, because it certainly doesn't seem that way. You're sometimes when you're hang on this kit. I swear to God, it's the same sort of stuff, but this one is just sort of flaked apart.
My understanding, and I could be totally wrong on it, is that there are only a handful of places that manufacture 2mm MDF.
Right.
So the answer to the question is that in theory all MDF should be equal and there shouldn't be no superior. However, it comes down to a lot about how many processes it's been through, if it's shaved down to 2mm or if it's manufactured at 2mm. How it's stored, how long it's been stored for. There's so many aspects to it. We don't store a huge amount, so it doesn't have the chance for the cold or the damp or heat or anything to get into it, because it basically just comes in and goes straight back out the door again. So I think a lot of it is down to how it's stored, how it's manufactured. If it's been left in a cold shed, rather than a heated room. We don't keep any of our MDF out in the cold.
MDF doesn't like damp, does it?
It does not.
Well, Alex has that.
No, it's gorgeous. It's always gorgeous.
It's always lovely up in Scotland.
That's what I have heard that. That's the I'm trying to we're just like completely unrelated note. My brother-in-law turns 40 and he wants to do the sleeper train up to Edinburgh. And we were looking at what time of year to go, and he was sitting there going, "Oh, it might be nice in winter." Like, no.
No.
No, do it in the middle of summer, because it's still like winter.
It's still, it'll be somewhere
warmer.
Yeah, it'll just be sunny in other parts of the country as you go through it. So you get there. That's awesome. Well, look, I because we want to have a big chat about the coloured stuff. Yeah. We want to have a good chat about that. Let's give Glenn a breather. And maybe if he regrets his decision about coming on here, and let's just have a quick little recap. Guys, have we been up to much in the last week or so? Not really, hasn't been.
No, nothing happened at all, mate. Nothing to
I met up with some randoms. In an underpass in Derby, but
that picture that came over during the evening with you lot under the underpass in Derby was just absolutely.
Oh, priceless. the one that Mr. James Miller took. You mean?
Yes.
One. Yes. That. I'll after the stream is ended, I'll tell you how the rest of that journey went, if you like. No, of course. So guys, we held CrackCon on Saturday, and they're in Crack again, and it was an absolute blast.
Awesome.
I can't speak for the others. What I think knows it was amazing. It was just amazing. So thank you to everybody who came. We are going to be doing a CrackCon roundup and sort of general paint along and chat next week. Steve's channel, where we'll show more photos, and because we had the painting competition as well, we'll have all of those to go through and photos from the day. It's not just going to be a CrackCon thing next week, is it, Steve? I think it's just a paint and chat night, basically, with a good dose of CrackCon. But I will share this just because it was such an awesome photo. So this one had the largest footfall, the largest number of participation games and people participating in games, even though there were fewer games than last year. It's just the confusing way it works. And by far the most raised for charity, which is still getting counted at the moment. And it was just phenomenal, and a cracking night at the Tudor Bar the night before. Awesome day of gaming, a fantastic curry, and then a trip to the Peacock. That's something that I'll tell you guys. So do you remember there was a year we couldn't get into Peacock?
Yes.
That's because the current landlord and landlady were having their wedding reception in there, and we tried to crash it.
Oh, was that what it was?
Yeah, because he remembered. He remembered us. And now they are the landlord and landlady of that pub. They've only been landlord and landlady for about, I think he said, about 9 months. But next year they want us all to go back. So now we have somewhere to go all the time.
Good.
So
I can't understand why they didn't want 40 very drunken wargamers to come into their wedding.
What are you talking about? We would be the absolute. We would be amazing guests.
Yeah.
we could.
I think, in my humble opinion, Saturday was, apart from number one, which I think is the one that is the one you remember, but I think it's the best one.
There's certain parts about number one I don't remember. I have.
There's quite a lot of number one. I don't remember.
Number one. Some bloke. I gave Hayley on Saturday night. She was wearing my shirt on the way home because I bought a coat and she decided not to, so she was wearing my shirt. And some bloke sniffed her shirt and asked her if she had an Alsatian. What is that? Is something I don't know what's going on. I don't know. She was confused and a little bit afraid, I think. But no, it was cracking. So we will go through all that. We'll give you guys the breakdown of what happened, what the games were, who betrayed who beat who. I don't actually know a result of quite a lot. I was fine. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, well. We'll discuss that. Part of the problem. You probably don't want me to discuss that to 163 people. But yeah, no, it was a quality time. To everybody who donated things to the raffle, thank you, especially as well to the people obviously who donated and didn't come. But the raffle is not over yet, and we'll explain a little bit about that later on in the news, and let everyone know. So, Dom, you've done stuff. Because you're clearly hardcore, and
you two just wimping around for goodness sake. Somebody has to keep their quota up.
Wimping around, yeah.
No, most of mine was bloody Prussian Landwehr to get for my game because I needed like 30 battalions of the damn things for the game. Thank you, Martin, for that one. So I'll just rattle through because there's one battalion. That was Silesian one, I think.
Oh, I
Again,
love
classic warlord stuff. I know you love them, Steve. I know you love them.
Are those the right gun belts?
Are they the right what?
Are they the right belts? The gun belt.
I mean, they've got belt. Actually, most of them got belts, so it's all fine. There you go.
I like the barefooted ones in there. That's actually like the one detail on that kit that I like is the ones in bare feet.
It's true. It's true. There's another one. That's a small battalion. There you go. So they all saw the table at the weekend. I think, I didn't video it, so I can say Prussians got a bit of a kicking. So these fellas didn't do that well. There you go. And also, don't mention it, but I did finish off some French as well. So,
oh wow, wow.
French voltigeurs. They are quite bright because of the light. I'm just going to put that in there now.
You don't just have to think that way. You paint really bright. Yeah.
Yeah, I only do light blue. So these ones are bizarre. I've had them more than 3/4 painted for about 6 months and I just thought, sod it, I'll finish them off. So about the night before we went up to Derby, I finished them off. And I don't want you to think that I've given up on my ACW. There you go.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, very nice.
I did a Confederate cavalry unit. That's the Blessed
Lovely.
Perry Plastics.
The Blessed Perrys.
The Blessed Perrys. That's all. Just 2.5, 3 battalions, something like that.
Yeah, that's all. That's all. Yeah, sorry.
What have you been doing then, Martin?
I have been. I was sorting out sprues and bags, and doing place cards and misnaming people in my own game. So that was good. I felt like I did loads last week, and I think most of it was actually just CrackCon prep. Although this week I've been editing. I've had about 3 or 4 videos on the go where I've been filming a little bit with each sort of part of the process, and then they seem to be sort of all finishing at once. So I've basically been focusing on editing a bit. What about Steve? Point that judgmental pendulum at him.
I did a bit more. I didn't upload any photographs because I fell asleep before. I was so tired. I did. I laid down to my team. I didn't wake up till 7:30. I was knackered. I've been painting some more sci-fi stuff, so some old Imperial Guard. I had a good chin wag with Rich at the weekend about Grimdark Future, so that was good because he plays it, and he loves it, and he's quite a few people in his club play it as well. So not far off finishing that. What I have been doing though, sort of yesterday and today, is planning. CrackCon has inspired me again. I'm back painting Epic ACW.
Oh my goodness!
Because the game that Aled and James and Dave Brown and Chris Brown and those chaps are running look really, really good. I had a good chat with James yesterday about Pickett's Charge.
Shit! I just knocked over a whole pot of Black Templar.
Oh,
that's about £7 down the drain. They were good rules apparently. They were testing the new version of Pickett's Charge, weren't they?
Yes.
Oh, were they? I didn't realise it was the new version.
Yeah, that's what Dave and Chris were running.
Yes, I've had quite an ACW sort of inspiration. So I'm back painting some Confederates. I played Lion Rampant at Boards and Swords yesterday morning. I can see Martin grimacing at the moment.
I feel like this is a conversation we don't need to have.
And I have got the rule book, and so I was going through today looking at building a couple of Lion Rampant. To be fair, the inspiration was that army that Ken's got that he bought off EK. Absolutely stunning looking army. Fantastic.
It looks amazing. It's just a shame he was using it for Lion Rampant.
But that was my first game yesterday, and I really enjoyed it. It was fast paced, dead easy to understand. I can see Martin grimacing.
I don't have to. It wasn't me. It was Dave Brown who, when everyone was talking about it, he came out with the more cutting stuff about it. So we can now say it's him. He came out with worse stuff than I did. I said that I think I said that Lion Rampant was the Wargaming what Duplo is to Lego, but he came out with something worse.
Yeah.
So
he was walking around passing judgment on a few.
He was, and he's an authority on rules, so we'll leave it there.
Yeah. What else am I being inspired by? Playing Ruckus on Saturday morning, which I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed. Great time seeing people tripping over walls and breaking their bows and arrows and avoiding sheep. Just a really, really good game. Clever system.
I wanted to have a go at that, but by the time I got over there, they'd packed it up, and
I was as soon as we did the intros, I was like, there was like flames coming off my feet as I ran to the back of the shop to play it. I've been so looking forward to playing it for months. What else was there? There was that Ruckus. Oh yeah, and I won some Perry's miniatures in the raffle.
You did, which you didn't give back because you want to put them for Ruckus. You held on to those.
I did. I didn't need to be rugby tackled to the floor and have them ripped out of my
Oh, you mean like with Ken?
So
Ken. So just for context, and Ken won so the bloody miniatures. We're going to have photos going up of the winners from all the people who kindly sent stuff in, and typically Ken won when bloody miniatures. He kindly sent us the whole of the last wave of release. Ken got those, but we decided they were too good for Ken because he's not going to do them justice, or they're going to go on Vinted or something. So he tried to grab them off of me, and I had to keep him at arm's reach by his face to try get them off before they could go to their rightful destination. So
I was going to do the same to Steve with those Perry figures, but then he assured me he's actually going to use them.
Oh God, no! I will sign any kind of legally binding document to I solemnly swear that I won't cut them up and stick mud and shit to them. That's my promise. I'm not going to. They're going to be faithfully painted and built the way that the Perrys intended them to be. That's my promise.
Intended. Good.
But yeah, I essentially came back yesterday just full of so many ideas and plans and things that I want to do. It's a weekend like that it does. Having played, all the games I played over the weekend, I've never played before, like Chain of Command. I'd never played that before. That was brilliant. Big thanks to Mark for running that and asking me to take part because I enjoyed it. My dice rolling was absolutely abysmal, and I still managed to somehow win. It was it was a complete and utter total fluke. Mainly because I kept wiping out the other guys. So I was playing a guy called Simon, and we both had equally bad dice rolls. But I somehow managed to kill virtually all of his leaders.
There was a lot of shouting generally going around from a lot of people when there was a bad moment in ours where a certain Caesar was killed, essentially.
Oh, right.
Where people upstairs were going, yeah, we know the bit that he died. We don't know what happened in your game, but we definitely know that Caesar died.
Yeah, everybody knew when Caesar died because that was the noise.
But yeah, so that's what I'm doing now. I'm just inspired. I'm buying, looking to pick up a few more things once I finish these. But yeah, this week's going to be a lot of epic ACW because that was a great looking game.
Oh, excellent. Right then. So there we go, guys. Remember, we are the streamers sponsored by Boards and Swords, who kindly have us over at the weekend. So womble over to their website if you want any miniatures and things like that, and put in the code PCP5, and you will you'll be able to buy things. That was a really shit advert, but I can't think of another way to say it. Excellent. So Ken, no, you're not Ken. Oh God.
Oh, for God's sake. That is the worst insult. You see, and he was going on, Steve, about me being old, and at least I can remember the name of the freaking guest.
Oh my God.
I mean, it does.
He's only been on twice,
Oh, so is Ken. Ken's only been on twice. Glenn's been on more times in the last 2 years than he has. Oh my God. So yes, I'm so incredibly sorry. Glenn, Coloured MDF. You've got a new venture, essentially, but within the same market. So how has that come about? Is it something you guys have always wanted to look into, or talk us through it?
I can't really remember how it came about, if I'm honest. Me and Martin were having a conversation probably about, I want to say about 3 years ago. It was one of those nonsense off the cuff conversations. And we went away and had a think about it and discovered a machine that would allow us to print onto MDF in color.
Right.
And it was eye-wateringly expensive. So we had another little look, and we found a pre-enjoyed one for about half the price of it brand new, with a service package, this, that, the next thing. And we took the plunge on it. I think that was probably about 2021. And we've been working on it, chipping away at it for the last 3 or so years now. When I was last on, we thought we might be at a point where we could actually maybe release something in terms of buildings rather than just the 2D stuff. But we've run into
with marshes and things like that, didn't you?
Yeah,
fields and that
yeah.
So we started with the ponds and the fields. So we've got a growing range of 2D terrain. But yeah, we thought we had something sorted, and then kind of ran into issues. And then can we get MDF in white in 2mm? And we couldn't find anywhere that you can do it in white. So we were talking about whether we could paint it. Can we get 2mm MDF, paint it white, and then print onto it? And we spent probably 18 months to 2 years trying to go back and forth and what works, what doesn't work. And every time we thought we had something that worked, we hit a snag. For a while, we even considered 2mm thick white card. And we actually got quite far along with a range, and then one day realized that if you took a wet wipe to it, it would actually just wipe it all off. And then we kind of went, well, that negates everything we've just done.
Probably not going to be a good idea.
No. It was one of those things, there was a little mark on it, and you tried to rub it with a bit of saliva and it wouldn't come off, so you get a little wipe and try and wipe it off, and then you realize that you're just taking everything off. And then we're like, oh, can we do lacquers? Can we do this? Can we do that? And it's been one of those things for a long time. We've been working on it. And then I think with the first stuff that we started releasing, I think was late 2022, we discovered that we can get white 3mm laminated MDF.
Yeah.
Off the shelf. Doesn't need anything done to it. We can cut it and print directly onto it, and that's it. So we went with that. The downside to that now means that whilst it's already white, so we don't need to do a white layer on it or anything, I need to now sit and rescale all of our buildings because they're all designed to fit together in 2mm MDF to fit in them in 3mm MDF.
Yeah.
Which sounds easier than it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no.
So yeah, we've gone down that path. We could have taken our 2mm and done a white print layer with our machine and then a color print on top. But that means that we have to do 2 print layers for every single sheet. And if we want to print double-sided, that means that we have to print 4 layers to get one sprue. And if you're talking about a building that's 4 or 5 sprues, it's a lot of time in order to produce just one building.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I was last on in 2022, the idea was that 2023 we were going to release some buildings, and we just kept running into snags. And it would have meant we were probably about 18 months in front of everybody else. But it's just one of those issues that we've had. Trying to find an artist in order to be able to create the skins, trying to find the material that works, trying to find the processes that work that have minimal impact on it. And we've finally got to a sweet spot where we can now start to produce stuff. So the pillboxes that you've got, they are the first thing that we've got, but I am currently working on
Should I throw up some
the
photos?
next. Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
You kindly sent through. So let's chuck up. Let's pop on. So this one. There we go. This just as an example of sort of what you can see.
So one of the first ranges that we're going to be working on is some kind of generic World War II style industrial buildings. So we released a range of industrial buildings last month, and they have all been rescaled for 3mm thick MDF, and they are now all getting artwork laid onto them. So you've got a few samples there of some buildings that we're looking at releasing, and that's probably going to be in the first quarter of next year.
Yeah, I really like this one. I really like this.
That is lovely. That is so nice.
Are these for 28 mil?
They are, yeah. So everything that we're working on at the moment is 28 mil.
Mm-hmm.
Will you consider? Is it worthwhile doing it for smaller scale, for like 15?
So again, we had this discussion last time. Our biggest market is in 28 millimeter products.
Yeah.
It's, and as a result of that, most of our purchases and most of our sales come through that. So I have issues about the thickness of the MDF to downscale it to say 15 or 20 mil.
Yeah.
Because at 15 mil, a 3 millimeter thick bit of MDF is a good chunk of 15 mil.
Yeah.
So it's not something that I'm going to say we're not going to do. It is something that I want to look at and see if it is viable. I just have to be aware that the material, I can't do anything on the color side of things for where it cuts through.
Yeah.
So regardless, you're going to end up with that cut line.
Yeah.
But at the moment, our priority is being based on 28 millimeter.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
all the effort
well,
you've had to put in to get to this stage,
really.
It's inevitable. It's going to take a while to then be able to scale it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's this one as well. You said that. I really like that. That's
It's
ace.
cracker as well, isn't it? Really good.
I have to admit they have come out fantastic. I'm absolutely loving working on them. It's it is taking up the core of my time just right now, working through these. But I'm absolutely loving it. Absolutely loving it. I'm having so much fun doing them as well.
They are really, really nice. Very, very cool. Yeah, because one second. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. No, they do look very, very cool. I mean, now you've got this. I mean, what's the plan? Just to keep expanding and keep going for bigger and bigger. Yeah.
So I'm working currently on 3 separate building ranges that will be released through the first quarter of next year. All of them in full color. I think the smallest range is still going to be about 12 to 15 buildings.
Wow.
Yeah. I think a couple of them. So I've already said there that we're working on the kind of industrial type buildings. I can't remember for certain, but I think it's somewhere between about 25 and 30 buildings that will get released in full color.
Oh, awesome.
That's awesome. That really is good.
That'd be with them being pre-painted. That's a really simple way of filling a table.
Yeah. I sent some stuff down to Nick at Two Fat Lardies just to get his opinion on them. And he said, I got them at 10 to 12, and by midday they're built and on the table, and I can play a game with them.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, you very kindly you sent some samples down here, and I've got them right here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I've been at work all day, but I annoyingly had to go out at lunchtime to go to Tesco's because there was no milk. But my plan was at lunchtime to go through. But just looking at them, I reckon you can have these built. But by the end of a lunchtime, these will all be built and ready to go.
If you're using super glue, you can build them even quicker. I use PVA, so you've got to wait for it to dry.
That depends, Glenn, how competent you are and how much you want to have MDF stuck to your nose or your eyebrow.
Yeah.
Dom will look like some bizarre parody of Edward Scissorhands with MDF stuck to his fingers.
Yeah.
No, if I do any MDF, it's super glue for me. I super glue everything though. So
I was about to say you super glue everything. You're lucky you don't use it when you brush your teeth. Like
no, I told you about my bedside table. I couldn't be asked doing all the screws and stuff, so I super glued it together. IKEA super glue.
Man.
That's ace. That's ace.
So you those sort of industrial buildings, as you said, they're fairly generic. Are you planning to make some that are a bit more specific for, say, Eastern Europe or something like that in time, or is that just a little bit further down? You just want to get this stuff done first? I mean, it's a shed load of stuff coming by the sound of it.
So something that we have discussed is the possibility of putting era-specific imagery onto them.
Yeah.
So, for example, for World War II, we could take some 1930s, 1940s Belgian beer companies, and we, so long as they're not still under copyright or anything like that,
of course,
it's the sort of thing that we can pull the image from, and we could put them onto a building and we could print them. So in terms of like Russian and stuff like that, yeah, we could take 1940s Russian propaganda imagery, placing it onto a building, which makes you feel like you're in the Eastern Bloc.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's very cool.
Again, it's things like that people normally add afterwards. Yeah. So if you're buying it all pre-done,
yeah,
I mean, it's just as someone that doesn't really like making terrain or making scenery, would like to have it as little work as possible. That'd be ideal for me, especially for World War II and bolt action. We want quite a bit of scenery, but you don't want to put the time into it.
Yeah. No, we can take era or area specific imagery and place them into a building, and we can add that into that.
I mean, I'm all for coloured timber frame medieval buildings, so I don't have to paint the timber frames, which is the. I mean, the process has gotten easier, and I don't know why I didn't use pens before. I used these AK pens for doing them, but if they come coloured, I'm all for anything that makes that process a little bit easier. That's absolutely fantastic. No, that's very cool. How's the sort of the response been generally to them? I said like you sent them out to a couple of people, but from the community generally, has it been pretty good, pretty positive?
Very positive. We released them weekend before one just gone at the other Partisan, and the general response from the show was really good. A lot of positive comments, a lot of people liking them. A lot of people buying them, which is even better.
Yeah, no, that's what you want. Yeah, very good when people say I like it.
I really like it, but I'm not buying it. Yeah, that's not as good.
Yeah,
is it?
No, that's what makes it even better. Is that people are taking them, which means that your time, your effort, your hard work is justified at the end of it. And I'm really looking forward to some of the stuff that that's coming out next year.
I mean, given what you've said about the design, how long that's taken to get that process right, from a business perspective, that's quite an investment. So you must be quite, I'm not going to expect you to go into numbers or anything like that, but sort of how long do you think something like that kind of investment is going to take you to sort of recoup your costs and time? I suppose it's more times than cost necessarily, but
I would hate to think about how many hours we've spent just discussing how to make it work, how it can work, how can we make it a thing, how can the idea that's in my head become a physical thing that we can look at and then sell to a customer. I'd hate to think about how long we spent doing that. In terms of cost of things like the machine, the machine has more than paid for itself already through the production of tokens, templates, the 2D terrain that we already have in it.
Because that's your sort of volume business that keeps everything ticking over. Yeah. I get that.
So, I mean, in terms of things with the machine, the machine's paid for itself. I still wouldn't like to think about how long I've spent working on it. And like I said, right now, pretty much 30 of my 40 hours a week are spent on design work for next year, just with the full color stuff.
That is
blimey.
Yeah. No,
it makes me laugh because you often hear people, not with your stuff, but generally around the hobby, is moaning about, why can't they do this and why did it take so? And then you think, well, this stuff doesn't just magically happen, right? And especially when you're doing something completely different, to try and get that working. And by the way, we've still got however many people you said to employ. We've got to earn this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's
the rent and all that.
That's the terrifying thing. My business isn't a wargaming business, but you can't look under the fence. I've got these people who are working. They work with me, for me, whatever how you want to put it. And at the end of the month, you have to pay their wages. So I can't do anything too adventurous. At the same time,
they endure you, isn't that what you say?
Essentially, yes. I chose to work at home today because I didn't feel they needed to endure me after Derby. No, that is fantastic. But there's also lots of other bits and bobs going on with Warbases as well. Now these are going to confuse Dom. But
easily done, to be fair.
So let's have a look at these.
I'm confused.
So this year our fantasy line Bifrost has exponentially expanded. I think is probably the best way to put it. Before I got my teeth properly into the full colored stuff, I was spending a lot of time dealing with Bifrost, dealing with sculptors, mold makers, and these are the next 4 figures that will be released in time for Warfare next month. Each of these is approximately 50 millimeter in height.
Oh, black.
Yeah, so they are big. They are big elementals.
I remember playing a certain really, really popular role-playing game. It's Dungeons and Dragons. What the hell? They're not going to care. And I ordered an elemental from somewhere, and it's a lovely fire game. When it turned up, it was like the size of a goblin. It was like a minor elemental. So, that's what you want, is a big, chunky earth elemental. I think that's my favorite one. That's awesome.
So these are all in resin. We originally tried to do them in metal, and then I think it was the water elemental was about 250 grams on his own, and then we kind of realized that that's a lot of metal, and quickly kind of threw that mold to the side and sent them down to our fantastic resin guy, who we've started working a lot closer with over the last kind of 18 months. And he does all of our bigger fantasy stuff that's in resin. He works on that, and he's an absolute magician with that stuff. But yeah, they're beautiful. Those they'll be out next month at Warfare. I can't wait to see how they'll go, because the box of the stock arrived, I think, at the end of last week. I can't remember. And yeah, they look beautiful. I'm really pleased with how they came out in the end.
They are really, really cool. And then you sent me these. Now, Steve, I think you're gonna be all over this.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So at the moment we have an existing range of skeletons. We currently sell them in. So there's 6 figures to a pack, and the customer receives a random selection of 4. From next year, all of our random packs of 6 will be changed to specific packs of 4. Okay. So that means that we currently have 1 pack of skeletons that are 6 and a random 4. They will now become 2 packs of 4. It means that our skeletons will expand from 4 packs of figures to 9, because we've also added a command pack in there as well. So the figures at the front, the bannerman, the drummer, the boy to the left of the drummer, and the boy to the right of the bannerman are your command pack. So you've got a champion, a drummer, bannerman, and we're calling him a king because he does have a crown.
Oh yeah.
Cool. I should have given you a close-up of the drummer because the drumsticks that he's using are bones.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
I just love the classic old school fantasy look they've got. I think I mention that all the time when it comes to the undead. I like classic undead.
Yeah,
like really old school looking. But they
Not
they
this
are...
new wave undead. You're not into your new wave undead.
Oh, I don't like this.
But the most important question, Glenn, is: are their feet attached?
the feet
yes,
are attached.
Yay!
I'm asking for a friend. It's fine.
No, the feet are firmly attached on these ones.
Oh, that's music to my ears.
Now, I mean, they do look awesome. I mean, there's so many games that these would fit right into. I mean, just war games or role playing games, and even just board games if you want to replace some of the minis that come in. And how popular is the Bifrost sort of range?
This year, I think we've more than doubled the range, and we have seen a huge upturn in-person sales at shows as a result. At the start of this year, it was only on one grid wall. We are now at 3 grid walls full of miniatures. Yeah. So yeah, it's more than doubled in size. Are
you going to be bringing them to Warfare?
Yes, the full range is at Warfare.
Good, excellent. I'm going to be spending money. Those skeletons are just awesome. I like them, but I also the elementals are just ace. So yes, I'll be paying a visit for sure. That is very, very cool.
Can we give Matt comment of the night, please?
Which one? Oh, hang on. Here we go. He says, if Steve doesn't like New Wave Undead, I'm guessing he doesn't like a flock of seagulls. Oh my god. Oh,
very good.
Very good. It's all right. It's right. So it's like, look, I chuckled. Great. That's the closest you're going to get from Robin to a full round of applause and standing ovation. Fantastic. Paul says he saw the Bifrost range at Partisan. He was before being swept away by the crowd.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. So that's what you see. You get your elemental and some livestock. That'll be my.
That's your shopping list started, is it? Already?
Well, I've got I have quite a shopping list actually. Considering I went to Salute with no shopping list whatsoever. I have a long shopping list for Warfare, one which is actually scaring me a little bit, to be honest. Probably will scare Haley when she sees it. But well, look, what would you? Because I'm just conscious that there's been a lot of questions for Glenn that's been coming with Dom and I and Steve and marking them as we come in. So it would just take a quick breather. We'll do some news, some wargaming news. We have a little bit of a chat about what's coming up over the next couple of weeks. We've got to do a giveaway draw as well for
stuff to give away.
The other stuff. I love it that it's the giveaways landed on my week, and we're giving away World War II stuff. So it says. And what we'll have as well, we'll then jump in with some questions for Glenn. And then at the end, we've got a few of the viewer pictures because it took me quite a while to actually dig those out from all the pictures of either drunk people picking up random shots, or Steve drinking tequila rosé, or some other things.
That didn't happen.
It definitely happened.
It did.
It definitely happened. I did it as well, but I don't think there's no picture of me. I've got a picture of you and I've got a picture of Miller, but there's no.
Tom's got 3 pictures of me.
I did. I got an action shot of you.
It's a triple.
Looking at it, sniffing it, and then drinking it.
It's a triple threat this time.
Did you not know that Dom used to be in the paparazzi? He's got that life. Right. Let's see some news. One day we're going to actually get a proper one. Yeah. I don't know why we still do that. He is splitting horrific one that for some reason we felt the need to play every week and inflict on everybody. So Dom, you've been out and about through the wilds of the internet. What have you seen? I've got a couple of bits, but you might as well.
I'll start, shall I? And then
you start.
Yeah, start. So first up, Victrix have been showing off what's coming on their side.
Oh, these are nice.
Medieval Foot Knights are on the way. Not sure. I don't think they put any timings on these, but they've started to show some of the sprues being prepared. So
yeah,
it can't be that far off. I wouldn't have thought. They've also got some Islamic infantry. And again, with all these, like all their other ones, that you can use them for quite prolonged period of time, quite a long period of history, which is pretty impressive. There's some medieval foot sergeants as well, and the one that I thought was really nice.
Those, yeah.
I like them as well. Look at them.
Oh, they're nice.
They're
Islamic cool. Heavy cavalry, and you can see from that just the variety of heads. It seems to be a thing at the moment, particularly with Victrix, is heads, as many heads as they can find, because that's those Islamic infantry heads. I mean, look.
I think they have hit on something a little bit here of like they did with their with the the mounted knights, and then they released a sort of a fantasy conversion kit.
Yeah.
And I to be honest, I think that's a great idea. I mean, you can do it for all sorts across that range. Just add in some fantasy tropes. I mean, all you got to do is release some skeleton heads, and you stick them on the those medieval troops, and whatever you got undead, or I don't know, ones with fangs. You got vampires.
It is a good idea, because how many people, like with me, I was going to use my those Victrix Knights as for Walls of Error 1 and it's sort of medieval warfare.
Yeah.
But then they released the fantasy helmets, and they're great. They're horns and fantasy stuff.
Yeah, really cool, really good. So I think that's one of the first sprues for the Islamic infantry. So you could, I mean, just there's 8 bodies, and there's.
Do you look at that and shudder, Dom? Though,
it's far too
a lot of stuff. That's a lot of stuff. You'd still take. God, admit you still take a single cast.
Every flipping time, mate. Every flipping time. I mean, yeah. Definitely. But look at the number of different heads. I mean, there's 8 bodies there, and there must be. I don't know. There is a joke there, but I'm not going to go there. Also, talking about one deal castings. Look at those Claymore.
Oh yes,
early 15th century men at arms. Now Claymore, I think. Obviously, including Black Sheep, and the other range that Glenn does. But I think Claymore are some of the finest models you can get. They are amazingly good, really, really good. The animation on those is awesome.
I may have been on their website this morning.
It's weird. It's one of those ones I don't own any of.
You're not. They're archers, particularly the newer lot of archers. They've got some older ones which aren't quite so good, but the newer lot are amazing, absolutely amazing. And some of their cavalry as well. So yeah, they're out and about already. Our friend Reconquer has been teasing us with talking about men at arms, a whole shed load more.
Yeah. So this is Bertrand something French. These men at arms as well. Now he's releasing these, and they're all coming with visors as well, if you want them. And there's kind of a range of things. So no, they are very nice. Those will be landing in because they're for the Patreon thing. So I'll be getting my mitts on those. The temptation to do 100 Years War Ruckus Force instead of a War of the Roses one is actually quite tempting. To have I'm really quite
beautiful figures. They do look amazing. Also, what did you think about this, Steve? Intro?
Why did you ask me? Why are you not asking me?
All right, I'm going to ask you about something else in a minute that I know you love.
Oh, okay.
I was talking with actually, it was with you and James, wasn't it? Was it pre curry or
drink? Yeah.
I mean, for the actual price, that's 40 quid.
Yeah.
And great way of getting some into the game.
It's I mean, I slightly disagree because I think it's a little expensive because they're cardboard terrain, and I just think, yeah.
Well, they got a bit. No, there's some plastic in there. So you got the ruined farmhouse in there.
A bit. All right, I'll give you that then.
The
half track is cardboard.
That's cardboard, yes. And I think the bunker type thing. I think that's the actual box just turned.
Yeah, I think it is just turned upside down. Yeah.
But as a way of very quickly getting someone into the rules.
Yeah. I mean, I applaud them trying to get more people into the hobby,
yes.
and having a sort of ready done box that's easy for you to use. I'm not sure. Anyway, but I'm not the audience, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, that's that. And then also they teased this, I think it was this morning. Now, Martin, I'll come to you on this one. What do you think? So the Army of Germany book. So, with the new version 3, Martin, they've rewriting all the army lists, and all the books are being replaced. Okay. So the first one, Armies of Germany, goes on pre-order on Friday. And that's I love doing these outlines, don't they? That's the outline of the special figure you get. I don't know, whatever it is. But so if you want your bolt action German armies, Friday. I think it's a heap of bodies, but I don't think it is. But you remember that heap of bodies you had for your Napoleonics, Martin? It looks like that to me.
Oh, is it like someone getting off a horse, or a horse that's like half sitting or something?
Well, it wouldn't be very.
It'd be like a German scout on a horse, like the one at the start of that film about the tank. Because there's you think about the film that Steve doesn't like. There's a German officer or messenger on a horse, isn't there, going between the tanks?
Yeah, then he gets shanked by Brad Pitt.
Alan says the best way to get into bolt action is spend 20 quid on the crack card.
Yeah,
true. So anyway, that's coming. I know lots of the bolters will get very excited about that. Also, coming the end of November, it's been lots of stuff. Is the new Silver Bayonets? Seems like they only just.
It's very popular. One. Yeah. No, it's really popular. I know in the club in Bury St Edmunds, it's always getting played.
Yeah.
Tell you what, since that got released, was it 3 years ago now? I think it's 3 years ago, and the releases and the updates have been very consistent from them. It's not like they've gone, sort of 9-10 months. They've come out on a pretty regular basis. I still haven't read my copy.
I sold mine, so I can't read.
Lots of Scots creeping about.
Could be. And what else have I got? Oh yeah, this one. Also, I know we showed the game that was being played at the other Partisan. Guard rule set. So
Paul
corrected me. It isn't just weird shit. It's actually dark age shit as well.
It's any shit you want. It's not weird shit. It's just
shit you like. It does look really good. To be fair,
it does look very, very cool.
I'm actually quite tempted. Nice. So I think this is going to go on pre-order on the Lardy website later this week.
Well, it was really nice because James, who's essentially written it, I think he came to CrackCon.
He did,
he was wandering around, and it looks fantastic. I've got to say that layout looks awesome.
Oh, it looks really nice.
I'm very, very
should be able to pre-order from tomorrow. There you go.
I was bemoaning the fact quite recently, wasn't I, about mass battle fantasy games or a lack of, and people in the comments were saying, wait for Midgard. So,
everyone's been it better be good, Rich. That's all I'm saying. Everybody's been talking it up. It does. I mean, the book looks fantastic, and that game looked brilliant. So I will be definitely doing that.
And Glenn, you're involved. You said earlier you've got some involvement here.
Yeah, we're doing the official token boards for them.
So
nice. The official measuring sticks and token sheet that you will get with the rule set, we are in the process of manufacturing at the moment.
Cool. Excellent stuff. I'm going to be definitely having me some of that. Then I think finally, although I've got one other announcement, we'll do that right at the end. They teased this earlier on today. So, Age of Chivalry for Saga has been talked about for quite a long time. Gamer Graham gets very, very angry that he's been waiting so long for this to come out. But they actually said they showed you what the different armies are going to. I'm not going to say factions because they're not.
Yes, I know. I was about to say. Sorry. Yes, the fact. Yes.
They are not factions. Stupid French people. So you got the English, the French, the Free Companies, Burgundians, the Flemish, the Scots, the Bretons, the Castilians, the Swiss, the Germans, the Hussites, and the Condotti, which I think is quite interesting. They cover quite a wide range of history there, but they're going to be So that's, and they say they're coming soon, but they've been saying that for quite a long time. There you go.
Yeah. I saw. I can't remember who it was now. Someone about the Hussite symbol. They weren't happy.
Oh, because it's got a duck on it.
Oh
yeah. I'll be interested to see what kind of feel they're going for with it. A bit like the Alexander one. I'm not 100% convinced, but we'll see. We'll see.
I know what you mean.
Yep.
I'm the same. So over to you.
Over to me. I don't nearly have as much because again I relied on you to fill it all out while I was looking for ways to do things we were talking about on the phone earlier to surprise everybody later. So now occasionally we throw up RPGs on here. Big RPG. If people don't know, Modiphius have got a license for Discworld, and they've launched it on Kickstarter. And it's made something ridiculous already. It blew through its goal in about 5 minutes. So if people are interested in Discworld, if that's your bag, and you want to maybe try an RPG, head over to Kickstarter and take a look. I have no idea what it is on at the moment, but
brilliant.
Yeah, it's on a lot. So yes, go over there and have a look at that. The next thing that I saw was carrying on with the GW release of the new Lord of the Rings Middle-earth strategy battle game, War of the Rohirrim thing. They've shown off another one of their sort of villain models. Which again, I think again these are like Marmite because they're based on an anime. So they've got that style. I quite like this, but I know some people hate it. So, but they're coming out. There's nothing about price yet, but I imagine you can probably imagine
expensive.
Yeah. Also, this the upcoming issue of Wargames Illustrated, or unless it's already gone out as well, will have a copy of Nevermind the Matchlocks in it, which is the English Civil War update version expansion. It's not really an expansion because it's got all the rules in it. In fact, I've got a copy here which I was kindly gifted, which I was reading. So you don't need Nevermind the Billhooks to play it. This is free in the next issue of Wargames Illustrated, and it's full of lovely pictures of bloody miniatures. Rich, who's come on the stream. So if someone is interested in playing slightly smaller actions in the English Civil War, maybe take a look at that. And then finally, coming on Kickstarter.
Tell you the other thing in that magazine is the apparently there's some new characters for Ruckus.
Yes, I saw.
Yes,
so
Mike mentioned
that. Behind the magazine, you get this, and you also get some new characters for Ruckus. So,
yeah,
I went to look at it in Smith's today, and it wasn't there. So,
well. Yeah, go take a look. And then finally, we mentioned this before, but imminently the new Kickstarter from the Great Escape Games, so Dead Man's Hand, for the mounted cowboys, the mounted gunfighters will be live very, very soon. I've just looked at that Discworld RPG. So they were after 130,000. They've made 1,500,000. Jesus. With 16 days to go. So there you go.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a fair bit on the horizon to be
one
fair.
other thing that Ian and Paul asked us to talk about as well.
Yes.
So I'll do that here because we might as well. So if you are getting withdrawal symptoms from CrackCon.
After one day,
after one day, I'm getting withdrawal symptoms, but I think that is the alcohol. The chaps over there are putting on now this is not an official sanctioned CrackCon. It is just they're having a meetup. So the plan is on the 29th of March at Boards and Swords and Derby to have it's going to be like a game, just a club day. So you'll go to
just arrange a game. Paul will know more. There'll be more information to come, but for it'll be more like a case of find an opponent and have a game. There's not going to be necessarily like the big range. You won't have the raffle or the the company sport, but you will be able to. So basically, like a big meetup or people who want to go along from PCP and have a chat. I mean, I'm probably going to go because it's right near my birthday, so I'll probably go down there for that. That sounds awesome. But more as well. There will be pizza. More info on that will be coming, but that's very, very cool. But that's Paul Richardson. We'll come out with some more info and we'll post it up as we go. Perfect. Now, just before we get back to the chat, we've got to do our giveaway.
Oh gosh, yes.
I'd forgotten what it was. That's
what it is.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to attempt to share my screen.
So what was the phrase that pays, Steve?
Nuts and bulge.
Nuts and bulge.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry about that, Glenn. You've been invited into a horrific state of right. Let me.
So we're going to give away one of each, basically, to two different people. So a reminder: you had to comment on either. It wasn't last week. It was the week before, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, like I said, for the past 2 weeks, I've been checking my phone, and like every couple of hours, it just says nuts or balls. I felt very violated for the past fortnight. I can tell you.
Right.
So this is thanks to Ian at Boards and Swords.
Is that sharing? Is that on the screen now?
Yes. It is now.
Okay, right. So the whole video is loaded on here. There were 57 entries. We're going to do 2 draws. Mm-hmm. So the first draw will be for the Germans. There we go. And the winner. So if you're the winner, please can you email us at theplasticcrackpodcast@gmail.com with your address details, please. And then we'll give you a week. And if you haven't got in touch with us, we'll have to do it again.
I'll just keep them.
Or Steam might keep them. Yeah.
And the winner of the Germans is
drum roll.
Marcus Burren 5048. Bulge these nuts. Fantastic. So Marcus Bowen 5048. I'm actually going to write it down this time because last time we did a giveaway, I didn't write it down. So that was a mistake. So well done. You have won the Germans for the new ones, and the winner of the Americans will be. Let's go. It's gonna be the same person. You can't win twice.
Can't win twice. No. Just put that rule in there.
Tech Saints.
Oh, nice.
Tech Saints. Nuts. Oh, Hazel. I mean, we've got a whole list. Oh God, what have I done? Oh, I think I linked it to Steve. I don't know. Oh dear. There we go. But well yes, done. There we go. Congratulations, Tech Saint. That is awesome. Please, can you both email us again? The email address is down below. It's theplasticcrackpodcast@gmail.com. Now, just a very quick announcement. Now, we do have a continuation of the raffle from CrackCon because we sold a phenomenal amount of tickets for our charities, and we had some Warbases stuff turn up. So Glenn kindly sent some Warbases stuff, but I've got it safe and sound. But I would just say, so we've got some of the pre-colored MDF pillboxes that we've been talking about tonight. There are some stuff from Black Sheep Miniatures, and I've already seen this mentioned in the comments a few times, so I'm going to throw it up. But there's also these guys that are in there, which should get people very.
I can't work out whether I'm just really confused. I just want them. I don't know why, but whatever. Yeah,
nice. I know they are awesome. On top of that, Warlord sent a box, and FedEx decided to hold it hostage in Thetford for a few days. So I have a whole box of Warlord bolt action stuff here, which again I don't know why it's with me, the bolt action stuff. So I have
probably because
no
it's safe
desire
with you. If it went to
probably,
Ken
because I've
or
got no
Steve or
desire
me,
to
we'd
open
hold
it.
on to it.
World War II. So what we're going to do in a couple of weeks now, we appreciate there'll be people watching the stream who I'm sure want to take part. But however, what we're going to do, because every single raffle ticket sold and everything here would have been available to the people who were there, we will very quickly do a price. So if you were at CrackCon and your name was in there, we will be just taking a few minutes to just do a prize pick. And if you attended, you could be walking away with more because every ticket sold. So they would definitely have gone. The four of us, definitely, well, I'll say the four of us, well, Glenn can win. We'll just pick Glenn instead of Ken. I've already called him Ken, so you know
exactly.
But those will be going, and so thank you very much, Glenn, for sending that stuff over.
Awesome,
it will go to
Thanks,
a
Glenn.
very worthy home. Right, that's been a very busy.
Cool, that went on a long time, didn't it? Wow,
it did. It doesn't normally. It doesn't. Red City wants to know if that's the right shade of fur for haggis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is everyone talking about moist and nuts in my stream? It's not. It's the wrong stream. Right then, let's have a look at the. So we'll start things off. So Glenn, Alex from little known channel called Storm Steel, he'd like to know how those rotor blades are coming along, which I assume is something you're.
Yeah, that was a conversation we had a few weeks ago. You need to blame Richard Clark. Our entire time is spent printing Richard stuff at the moment.
You've been bumped, Alex. Basically, is what he's saying. You've been bumped.
He knows his place now.
Yeah.
David, there we go. Look, I just spotted the haggis on your website, and now I need them. And the new dragon looks great. I didn't see
Brilliant. Brilliant.
You'll have to go find the dragon. James has said, when will we see the Warbases war game? Where the bases go to war? Is that's nearly Strength and Honor, isn't it? They're nearly the bases at war.
Yeah, that's basically Strength and Honor. Yeah. Yeah. That was a weird, fun conversation when Mark came to us and asked us to produce some 2mm figures. We thought he was mental. But we came up with something and they sold by the boatload. But yeah, that's basically Strength and Honor.
Fantastic. No, that's the way. Grindor is saying, now you slightly answered this already, but I'll put his question up just who's it. And he said, what is the smallest scale, wargaming scale, that you can produce for? And by that, I assume you've done, because technically, because we've just talked about, because it's 2-3 mil, isn't it? Strength and Honor? So
the Strength and Honor stuff is 2mm figures, so they're actually metal.
Yeah.
But if you're talking in terms of buildings, 10 mil, we do have it's a very small range of 10 mil buildings. That is the absolute smallest that we can go. But even at that, it becomes really fiddly to achieve something that looks right.
Yeah. There we go. We have I think David. I think it must have been in touch with you. He said you got his walls for separated layers of 6 mil brigades made to measure and sent out very promptly. Excellent service. Fantastic. And there has been a lot of comments in there as well. All these people have contacted you for various bits and bobs, and it's always come back.
I have a question, Glenn. Have you ever considered doing a deodorant spray of the smell of burnt MDF?
Or a candle, like a candle we can gift at Christmas.
Well, we discussed this last time. I can't smell it.
Yeah,
I know you did say. I'd forgotten that.
I can't smell it, so I wouldn't know what it would smell like.
Yeah.
Is that just immune? Have you just become immune to the smell? Yeah.
I'm nose blind, totally nose blind to it. I can't smell it. I'll go on holiday for a couple of weeks, come back and smell it for about 10 minutes, and then it's gone again.
When the parcel was here, when I got home from CrackCon, and I sort of picked it up and I couldn't see it, but I could just get that waft. I was like, I know exactly who that's from. I know exactly.
As soon as it arrives on the doorstep, you know exactly.
Yeah. But the strange thing is now, Haley likes that. If I go and spray paint my minis outside, if I bring them in too soon, I'll be like, well, you're using that stuff again. If I bring in MDF, it'll be she'll come in and just be sort of loitering in the background, just sort of huffing in the fumes, whatever it is to fume.
It's very Marmite-y.
Yeah.
My other half hates it. She absolutely hates it. You know,
I got caught sniffing some MDF bases once, and my girlfriend was like, "What are you doing?" I was like,
Well, you had your face in the bag, like
it's I don't know. It's just such a nice smell.
That is.
Yeah. I'll give you that opportunity there, Glenn. Just I'll take a cut though. When you sell millions.
If Games Workshop can sell the smell of Nurgle, I think we could. The MDF burnt wood has probably got more legs. Gwindor has asked, have you ever thought about doing bases for a Song of Ice and Fire? I think that's what that is. A Song of Ice and Fire. But I guess that's again part of the custom. You've got options on the website, haven't you? The base sizes and custom options.
I don't know what the basing is for a Song of Ice and Fire. It would be something I'd need to look into, but I imagine it's probably something that we could do. I would need to look into that for more specific.
So Shell Shock Scenics, who obviously does a lot of scenery, he says he enjoys your MDF buildings he's had. What he would like is thicker sheets, like 5 or 10 mil. Is that not what you just buy at like B&Q? Is this? I'm not quite sure in what size he means, but yeah, I mean, is there a maximum thickness you guys would go?
Yeah. So that comes down to the wattage of the laser tube that's in the machine. The machines that we have, 3 is the kind of upper limit. We have tried 6mm plywood, and it needs multiple passes in order to cut it. But it does also mean that it burns it quite a lot as well.
Right.
So kind of 3mm is our limit for the machinery that we have available.
So the idea, because I know maybe you do this and I've missed it, but sort of, like people do texture sheets, like cobbled roads, that kind of thing. Yeah. How easy would that, like, because people are obviously, when they're doing built up areas, you were doing it, Dom, at the weekend, you had some just simple stuff down, didn't you? Just for a built up area. How sort of simple would that be? Just a laser pattern of cobbles.
So it's absolutely doable, but it comes down to the time versus the cost.
Yes.
Engraving, the engraving process does take a long time. So it's whether a customer would be willing to pay the cost for the time to produce it.
Yeah.
And it's not something that we feel like is probably financially viable. It's the kind of thing that we probably have to put that higher price bracket on it that it becomes too expensive. As an individual piece, it's not that bad. But if you're looking at trying to do a 6x4 full of cobbled roads, it gets very expensive very quick.
Absolutely. Okay.
Has MDF had the same kind of issues around pricing that like metal and resin had? So it's like everything else. Because I imagine the cost of running a laser is freaking expensive, especially in this.
The raw material in the last 3 to 5 years has more than doubled in price.
Wow.
And we've absorbed that as much as we can for as long as we can. I think we put a small price increase. I think there was a small price increase on some of our movement trays last year. But in the last kind of 3 to 5 years, our MDF sheets that we buy them in at has more than doubled in cost.
Wow. That's insane. That's That's, I mean, yeah, as you say, you can see it all across the.
Yeah, sadly, everywhere is the same. But I wondered on the MDF, but that's interesting. That's nasty.
It's all manufactured abroad, so none of it's manufactured in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got all the shipping costs and everything that,
of course,
have all increased over time as well.
Blimey.
There we go. Sorry, one of the contest winners was just in the chat, so I was just sending the email address. So I was just there. Other questions? We've had many questions. Hang on a second. Let me just pop this up. Mortsix said to us that 3D printing must now be fully accepted as our drinking game seems to have died out. That's true. Every time someone mentions 3D printing, we did drink. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely gone now. Yeah, well, there you go. We've got our finger on.
We're moving with the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely. Red Steph, some of these comments. Red Steph says he was in the process of saying he doesn't mind Ken winning when his ticket was called. That was the bloody miniature. I think. No, absolutely. So Digger Down Under said he said, is Glenn a wargamer? And if so, how does he feel now this hobby has become a job? And how did COVID affect Warbases? Because actually, obviously we talked about this the last time you were on. But I guess some of the guys, like some people who probably didn't know before, but in COVID, you guys took quite an active, you quite proactive, weren't you?
Yeah. So during COVID, so peak lockdown in 2020, we shut up shop. We all kept all of our staff at home. Everyone went on a furlough and received their full pay. That included me because I don't live with Martin. So he could still go into the unit because he lives around the corner from our building. And he was doing bits on his own, but we basically had to stop everything for, I think it was the best part of about 3.5 months. During that time, with the NHS struggling with supplies, we teamed up with the guys at Pendraken and started producing visors. And we were handing out visors to care homes and all that sort of thing. Any business that couldn't get a hold of them. And honestly, I can't remember, but I think between us and Pendraken, we gave out thousands in the end. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, that was us during kind of peak COVID. With the kind of mini lockdowns and the local stuff after that, we've been able to stay open since. So I think we reopened, I can't remember if it was at the end of June or the end of July. We opened back up in 2020 and we were able to go back to work. But it did have so
long ago.
It did have a big impact on us at the time because we couldn't have all of our staff in at the same time because the machines are next to each other. And we were having to do shift patterns and all sorts of mad stuff in order to be able to pay everybody to be able to still do their full hours and still operate as a business. So yeah, COVID in the end, financially, we didn't take a huge impact in the end. We were still open to taking orders, but it was on the premise that they would be shipped in the future. So we still had money coming in. It wasn't anywhere near what we were used to at the time, but
no. But I remember as well, didn't you? You sent some bases out for free to people, didn't you? To keep them wargaming, to keep people hobbying. Because of course, the hobby kind of. It's not. I can't think of another word, but I want to use the word blossomed at that point, but only because people had a lot of time then. So people who had been away from the hobby for a long time picked it up again, and then you guys were offering to say get in touch. And was it like I can't remember? Was it just like a few? I can't remember. I remember you sent me one that was about this big for my command base that I needed. And
we called it a Warbases helping hand. And we were effectively giving out free bases. And the T's and C's were something the effects of a maximum of 15 bases or up to up to 100 grams, whatever you hit first, which meant that we could still ship it out as the lowest category, so it has the least financial impact on us shipping it to the customer, but customers still get stuff. So we done that for a few years, and we're actually we started discussions last week. We're going to look at doing something again in January. We're not sure the exacts around it, but we're wanting to do it in January because kind of post Christmas, before people get that first pay after Christmas, it can sometimes be a bit hard for some people. You know, as well, Christmas is a time for being around friends and family, and if you're maybe not in the best place or you don't have a lot of people around you, the idea is that the hobby, the community is still there for them. So yeah, we're looking at doing something again in January. We're not exactly sure on specifics of that yet, but that will be back again in January this year.
That's awesome.
That's fantastic. Awesome. Yeah, that's why we love you, Glenn.
That's awesome. I think you saved somebody else tonight, because KG Snyder said, I did not know that MDF does not like the damp, rushes to the shed and brings them in from the cold.
No, it does not deal well with the cold and the wet and the damp.
That'd be like where all our viewers have suddenly just dropped off. Well, I'll have to check that point, because everyone's rushed out to the garage.
Everyone's gone out to the shed of the garage.
Yeah, that's it. Like quickly, there's just a lot of angry partners and wives just waiting there for people to come in. Alex says the Midgard tokens are terrific, and he loves the GDA 2 set you guys have done as well. I think we just saw some of the GDA ones actually at the weekend. We saw those as well. Where's that one? I've just so David. So I'm sure you answered this last time. But I can't remember. And for a definitive and totally unbiased answer, can I ask Glenn if miniature wargaming vehicles should be based on?
So no, you didn't ask me this last time. But yes, they should be.
Hey, good answer.
Good answer. Just leave that one there. There doesn't need to be an explanation. I think the evidence will speak for itself. I realize I'm the only. I mean, again, I you two both do, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
only a heathen wouldn't.
Exactly.
I didn't base my last vehicles, but that was only because of the pictures I was taking. And also I hated painting them so much at the thought of basing them and prolonging the experience. I wasn't up for that. I just wasn't up for that. Carl said, I'm going to end this, and then we've got some photos. So Carl just wanted us all to know the Smell and Nurgle is available every Saturday for free in all GW. Excellent. Well, thank you everyone for those. David is oh look, they're all there you go. Oh, Robin. Oh yes. No, we use it. We used some. We bought. So we had a game we ran at the weekend. We needed chits for our game to give to the computer, so we were using your strength honor coins. But people just weren't rolling the results. We spent ages coming up with we need some chits, and then he remembered these, and they were awesome. They really were cool. It's just those kind of things that they just help enhance the game when you add those little details. Like obviously it could just be a poker chip, but when you've actually got the coins and you've got those markings on them, they really are nice. We're fast approaching the end of the stream. Yes, I know. We've got time for some pictures. I'm gonna put these up again just because I think they're amazing. They are fantastic. I mean, they're amazing. I want to kind of like use them in the next game of Rangers as Shadow Deep, but give them the stats of a dragon or something like the terror from the deep. No, so there aren't as many photos tonight. I think a lot of people were going through things for CrackCon, but remember the link to the Facebook group is down below. It's also a link to Warbases. So just in case you've lived under a rock and you didn't know about them, then the link is down below as well. But you guys will be at Warfare. That's the next one, isn't it? coming up. Is there?
Yeah.
I mean,
but
I don't think there's a show in the UK pretty much you don't attend. I mean,
is there a show you don't attend?
So once upon a time, there pretty much wasn't. Pre-COVID, we were doing about 25, 26 shows a year.
Jeez.
After that, when everything kind of died down for a little while, the shows weren't on. We made the decision to cut back a little bit on what we were attending at, and we are now currently at 12 shows a year.
Still a hell of
so
a lot.
yeah,
Still a lot though. That is a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, for example, we're at Warfare next month. Martin gets back with the van on Monday night. I have to unload it on Tuesday morning and reload it on Thursday night because we're down in Middlesbrough for the Battleground show.
Right.
So I've only got a couple of day turnaround to get everything redone and back in the van again for the next one. But that's our last two for the year. We've just got those two left now.
Fantastic. I think those haggis should be Haggai. Is that
Haggai?
Had to be him, didn't it? You'd definitely be Robin that would ask that question. Well, maybe you're onto something. What is it? A flock? Is it a flock of haggis? If it's a unit?
I don't know. I'll need to look into that one for you. I'm not sure.
We need to know the collective name.
What's
so we
the
can
collective
have
term for haggis?
Yeah.
A heap of haggis. I don't know.
A gaggle.
Gaggle.
Yeah, feel free to comment away while we have some of these. I'm sure there'll be some. Right, Carl. Now, Carl and Martin have this amazing. You'll see it next week. There's amazing Dead Man Sand table. Continuing his scenery, he's got a rhino that he didn't like, and I like it that comment was from Carl. In fact, perfect. So I think he's using this for Space Weirdos and the Xenos Rampant. As well. But please do post work in progress shots, especially scenery, because we really like them. So looking forward to see how that develops. Andrew Young has gone all out on this very cool.
Absolutely brilliant.
And the thing that it's the wood grain. I just love the wood grain on it. I mean, I love the whole thing, but the detail on that is lovely. So fantastic stuff. Art has been working on some Prussians now fully flagged up.
Nice.
Very cool. Very nice. DJ is on some Napoleonics. Very cool. Very nice, tightly ordered as well, and very crisp white, which is probably hurting Steve's eyes a little bit.
The amount of pain I suffered over the weekend from the sheer amount of painted Napoleonics I was being assailed by.
We were over the back. Was it Paul that was trying to offload musicians onto you? I can't remember. Was it over the back?
That was the most common comment every time we walked up to a table of Napoleonics. Everyone going, "There's the drummers, Steve."
If I had a £10 note for every time someone threatened me with drummers over the weekend, I'd be very rich by now. They do it in a sadistic way.
I know, it's almost like we know you don't like it. Dan has been playing. This is Fantastic Battles. This looked very cool. I always like a good overhead shot. That looks very
10 millimeter.
Cool. 10 mil. That looks lovely. Jacob has been working on stuff for Frostgrave. We'd like to see. And plenty of mages and wizards. Now I had to share this because I couldn't remember if we actually shared a picture of it, but he did share pictures in the group, and this was James's game at Partisan. With the mad Hobbit background, and I just wanted to share. Oh, look whose flag that is in the background there. Look at that. It's almost as if I saw that photo and thought, I'll grab that one. No, that is such a cool looking game, and of course using the Midgard rules. Then Jeff has made so many. Not Tom. I'm very happy in this picture, but he's made Steve happy because he's turned it to and there's wobbly bases, which I like. So no, Dave. I mean, I have no idea what's going. I mean, this is amazing on so many.
That is brilliant. So good.
Dom's just confused. And slightly. But no, Jeff, absolutely fantastic stuff. I really like the colours, actually. I really like kind of muted, grimy yellow. Steve has been... I can't see them for some reason on my screen, but hopefully you can.
We can.
Up.
American
AWI, yes, that's it. AWI, isn't it?
What it looks like.
Well, I remember them looking very, very nice, but for some reason I can't see them. There was some Highlanders on there, I remember, and there was also a standard bearer. Very, very cool. Yeah, really nice.
Like a Hessian or two and some.
Absolutely. Matt Williamson working on some medieval cavalry.
Oh, they're good.
Oh,
like them. Oh, yeah.
Very, very cool. Very, very nice. And Richard, just rounding off tonight with some limbers. There you go, Dom. Your game would have been so much better if it had more limbers.
It would.
There weren't enough limbers. No, I know. Personally, I think that you half-arsed it by not putting the limbers. Not me. No, it was amazing. No, everything's amazing. That was just to say a quick round of photographs tonight because it's been bloody busy. But Glenn, thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with us, and of course just donating the stuff for the raffle, and just taking the time. I'm just seeing if anyone has put in here according to the internet, it's Haggises.
Yeah,
Haggises.
There was a lot of comments of a murder of Haggises, but I think
a group is called a Stushy. Stushy of I quite like that.
Stushy. Okay, fair enough.
And then Andy has to just complicate things. I suspect it varies if it's Lowland or Highland. It absolutely matters. If the color of a button matters on a Napoleonic uniform, or the type of brick in the NDF wall, then absolutely the collective of birds. All right. Well, with that, we might have started something here, and I apologise in advance. Steve was interested in doing Hesses. I showed him the drummer. Oh yes, absolutely. Fantastic. So Glenn, thank you very much for coming. So remember, you'll see Glenn and Warbases over at Warfare. I'll be there. Dom will be there as well. Steve's done socializing for his calendar year, so he won't be.
Enough.
He won't be. Of course, remember, you got all the links down below to the channels, to Warbases, to the Facebook group. Just answer Dom's questions free, and he'll let you in. Me and Steve definitely will not under any circumstances let people in who don't answer the questions. And then next week we're over on Steve's channel for just a real chilled out general paint along, and a look at some of the stuff that happened at CrackCon, with a bit of a closer look at the games and what everyone got up to. Remember as well, if you were one of the winners from today's giveaway, please email us at the email address down below and let us know your address so we can get the stuff sent out to you, because otherwise we have to give it to Ken, and then he's going to put it on Vinted or eBay. And then he goes, when he got his refund from the Travelodge, all he did was go straight to Boards and Swords and spend it.
Yeah,
that's all he did. He just went for the travel.
Yeah, like
that.
Good.
Well, last time there, his daughter was about to be born, so he used his refund money to buy some kind of pram or something on the way home, and that was how. So he got his weekend for free, then bought something to make himself look good when he came home from his gaming weekend. So there we go. Anyway, there we are. Glenn, thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. And we will see all of you next week over on Point HQ for the final one of October. So in the meantime, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you all later. Bye-bye.
See you, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.